the second
All right,
half.
we said we promised we'd talk about Bitcoin. So what's your basic thesis? You saw Kathy Wood. I think, what'd she say, 800,000 or something by, I guess the end of the decade, maybe. But even by 2025, I think he was talking about like 300,000 or 400,000. Is that possible?
I think our idea of network value for Bitcoin and scarcity still argues that if this isn't an upcycle, her numbers are correct. Something in the 200,000 plus range. It's pretty battle tested this year because we had some of the biggest regulatory hammers come down on crypto and Bitcoin, and it's been bottoming.
And some of the I don't know if you call them bad players, but maybe not completely regulation compliant players are gone, and they've gotten the attention of either imploded or at least been called out by.
That's right. Yeah, there's been sort of an exit stage left for a lot of players, but then we've replaced them with, some of the traditional players that have a lot of credibility, like the BlackRock and the Citadels coming into Bitcoin. So I do think there's reasons to be optimistic.
That's, we with equities, we have price to earnings multiple. I'm not sure how. What would you use for Bitcoin? Stock to flow or?
Yeah, you can use stock to flow. You can also look at break evens on mining and like a price to book metric. And as the good news is that because of things that are like NFT, like on Bitcoin now, which is a variation of colored coins, you're seeing increase in miner activity. So miners are actually making money, and I just think Bitcoin has a lot of technical support as well. I mean, unfortunately, it does trade like a risk-on asset. So the fact that the S&P's up this year and the Nasdaq's up 38%, those have historically been associated with the best years for Bitcoin.
Yeah, and it's up a lot more than either of those. And it, at 17, it looked like it could go back to 8, and it didn't earlier in the year. Not to say that it can never again. People still have I still hear pet rock all the time. Beanie Babies.
Yes. Yeah, that's
greater fool theory, I hear. No inherent value. Still hear all that stuff. Rat poison.
Yeah, or it's backed by nothing. And
right.
I think more and more traditional financial players realize that, the entire financial system is really, anchored by trust and trust in a system and also sort of the network value, whether it's a dollar or, FANG stock prices. And I think even, credit derivatives. And I think increasingly that explains why Bitcoin, has held its levels and could be rising.
It's always old school. You still don't really, you don't really have
I give myself
firm
permission.
opinion of Bitcoin.
Well, I don't, but everything you just said about Bitcoin has always been said about gold, right? So gold has never really been fully embraced by the mainstream. There's always been this kind of skepticism at the core. So I don't think that necessarily disqualifies
Nobody thinks gold is going to zero,
something.
though. Nobody thinks gold is going to zero. Ever.
Not zero, no, because there are things you actually use it for. But,
Well, that's not what makes gold valuable.
No, of course. No.
It's like you need to have some way between different cultures of accepting something that you've done in exchange for something they've done. It's just there's no way to run anything without doing it that way.
It's going to continue to be what it's been, I think, is the other bull case.
Right. But the people that hate Bitcoin love gold. Half of them. They think it's insane to even compare the two.
Right.
Yeah, it's like a generational thing. I think Bitcoin is sort of a baby boomer thing, and Bitcoin is more millennials. But as we know, in the next 20 years, a lot of the wealth will be transferred to younger folks, and there's only 100 million global holders of Bitcoin.
Okay, boomer. See, I'm like millennial-like.
Almost, yeah.
Huh? Feeling young, feeling good. Thank you, Tom Lee.